He was a television writer. He was a monologue writer for many years in New York, and then moved out to LA and became a television writer. Until I was in high school, it was a bit unclear what he did. I mean, there was a show called The Tonight Show, and my dad got on a train and went to New York, but The Tonight Show seemed to be a guy named Johnny Carson interviewing a lot of people, so I wasn't sure exactly where my dad fit into that. He would occasionally appear in skits on the show. I know he played Lyndon Johnson's sort of idiot son-in-law in one skit one time, I remember. But that can't be what he does all day, waiting for the next chance to play Lyndon Johnson's idiot son-in-law. But eventually, I guess I gathered that Johnny Carson comes out and tells a bunch of jokes at the beginning of the show, and he was one of the 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people that writes those jokes. Well, he was an influence in that, he was a funny person to be around, and he was a very good writer, so I would read his scripts, and then I think we would talk a little bit about structure and things like giving characters a goal and, a drive, we say, the importance of having obstacles in the way of characters achieving their goals, and sort of rudimentary things like that would kind of make sense to me, but would make more sense as I proceeded in my career. It certainly wasn't a case where he would sit down and go over something page by page and really instruct me. It was more like, you take 2 weeks or a month, and if you got something for me to read, give it to me, and I'll give you my comments. And I don't think he loved reading the stuff, but he was, when he did, he would come back with, good, helpful, professional comments. Look, I grew up with a father who was a writer, a very good writer, a revered writer, and he was someone who influenced me in what he wrote and in what he said. So certainly he was the biggest influence. But there are many writers that I have worked with and admired and been jealous of and wanted the respect of, and that's a good thing. That sort of, churning competitiveness drives you, and there have been many people who have done that for me. He was a great writer of scripts. I mean, he contributed a ton in rewrites. For 30 years, he was a hired hand to come in and take scripts and make them better in a short period of time, along with other people. He was very fast on his feet, pitching new jokes, pitching story fixes, always sort of dazzled people in rewrite rooms with his ability to do that. Probably even more than that was his facility just as a straight script writer, someone who was good at it, fast at doing it, and enjoyed doing it. So in the course of his career, he wrote maybe 150 scripts. I mean, that's really unheard of in contemporary times. There were seasons where he would write 17 scripts in a given year. I mean, you don't find nowadays people who write more than 5 in a year. So I think he would like to be remembered as a very gifted and prolific writer, and he was. I don't know. I'm not sure there was any specific advice. It was sort of more stuff that you just glean over the years. But there wasn't advice per se like that. Here's what you need to do. Here's who you need to hang out with. It was more just sort of stuff you learn by osmosis, hearing him talk about how scripts got better or what constituted good writing. I guess he said, I've never trusted the people who watch television and think that will make them better television writers. Read books.